Killer Mike just won Best Rap Album for his work titled Michael at the Grammys before things took a turn for the worse. The critically acclaimed rapper, who is one half of Run the Jewels with producer LP, has almost 2 million followers on his Instagram account, so if you haven't heard of him, his fans certainly have. Originally debuting on Outkast's fourth album, Stankonia, in 2000, and later rapping on their Grammy award-winning single, The Whole World, Killer Mike is known for being a member of the Dungeon family, but now, there was even talk that the Grammys themselves were rigged when, before the ceremony started at 5 p.m. Pacific time, the Twitter account for the Recording Academy for the Grammys congratulated Nicki Minaj for winning a Grammy with Barbie World for Best Rap Song with Ice Spice, before deleting the tweet and replacing it with one that awarded Killer Mike's song Scientists and Engineers the Grammy for Best Rap Song. What really happened at the Grammys? What aren't they telling us?
Killer Mike with Run the Jewels has 4 highly praised albums, and after accepting his Grammy, police entered the building and arrested the rapper. But why? Did Killer Mike do something so extreme that the Atlanta Police Department felt compelled to arrest Killer Mike at the Grammys? The police have the discretion to file a warrant and let him report to the station voluntarily. Killer Mike is a celebrity and most likely wouldn't flee a misdemeanor warrant. Why did they make a big scene out of it? Was it race related? Or did Killer Mike get arrested because he's an educated black man who has spoken out against the police for racial injustice? What really happened?
One of the craziest things about this incident is that the security guard made a citizen's arrest that led to the misdemeanor charge. It wasn't even a legitimate police officer. How was this allowed to happen? Thinking back, this raises the question of a double standard when Will Smith assaulted Chris Rock on stage and was allowed to continue the ceremony despite committing an act of violence in public. Was it because Will Smith is more famous than Killer Mike? Or was there something else at play here? According to sources inside the Atlanta Police Department, the rapper allegedly pushed a female security guard down and allegedly threw an elbow when she tried to prevent him from entering the building to accept his own award, skirting around a security checkpoint. Was this security guard not a fan of Run the Jewels? Or did she simply not recognize Killer Mike because he was black and they all looked the same to her?
Killer Mike was booked on suspicion of misdemeanor battery and subsequently released. He is due to appear in court on February 29th in Los Angeles, according to jail records. The irony is this coincided with amazing news for Killer Mike's family, as he and his wife just found out that their son, who was on the list for a kidney transplant for years, finally found a match. This great news was unfortunately overshadowed by a persistent issue of racially charged arrests in America. The Grammy winner hosted Netflix Trigger Warning with Killer Mike, a 2019 documentary series about issues that affect the black community. He also made an emotional plea to calm a protest against police brutality that turned violent in Atlanta. Was Killer Mike's arrest connected to his activism? At the recent Los Angeles Police Commission meeting, Commissioner Rasha Shields said she had some concern over Sunday's arrest and wondered out loud whether if Taylor Swift would have been handcuffed and booked in a similar circumstance. Looking at Atlanta, Georgia, and researching race relations, there is data to consider. Google Trends shows there is little to no curiosity in Georgia for racism in the police, but an overwhelming curiosity about the concept of white privilege. What does that say about America?
Killer Mike wasn't the only black celebrity to experience potentially racially charged arrests. In April 2023, GloRilla said she was denied access to her car when trying to pick it up from a hotel valet lot from racial profiling, as the hotel valet told her, "This isn't yours. This is a Mercedes car. This car is expensive. This car isn't yours." J.Cole in 2013 in Times Square, New York, was stopped by police because his outfit raised their suspicion with a lidded cap. J.Cole said, "I just got pulled over on 42nd Street in Times Square for what I believe was nothing," he revealed. They said it was for tints on my front window, which is barely tinted. I really believe it was because I had my hat low. I had my hat low and I think I was looking quote unquote suspicious just as a black man with my brim low. Even being a legendary tennis star at the US Open can't stop you from being racially profiled. In 2015, retired tennis player James Blake, who was once ranked number 4 in the world, was slammed to a sidewalk and handcuffed by 5 NYPD plainclothes cops. Blake was accused of being another black man misidentified by a witness for a credit card fraud investigation, according to the police. Blake suffered a cut to his left elbow and bruises to his left leg. The tennis legend told the news, "It was definitely scary and definitely crazy. In my mind, there's probably a race factor involved. But no matter what, there's no reason for anybody to do that to anybody."
Speaking of legends, the rapper Nas was targeted following a DUI arrest in Atlanta in 2009. TMZ claimed that Nas appeared to be intoxicated, but watching the dashcam footage, we disagree. He followed the arresting officer's finger with his eyes and walked the line back and forth without falling over or looking drunk. During this ordeal, Nas reassured fans, and he said, "They can't keep a good man from shining." Charges were eventually dropped against the rapper. You may not know this, but Lenny Kravitz's famous song, Bank Robber Man, was inspired by a 2001 incident in Miami when he was cuffed by officers while walking to the gym. Officers claimed Kravitz matched the description of an at-large bank robber, not realizing they had arrested a world-renowned rock star. They later apologized for the mix-up, but not everyone can turn an insult into poetry.
When Henry Louis Gates, a Harvard professor, came home in 2009, he was arrested for just trying to open his own front door after his neighbors called the cops and accused him of being a burglar in his own home. The irony was lost, but the anger wasn't. Gates, a black studies scholar at the Ivy League University, lashed out at the cops for racial profiling, and the incident sparked a national dialogue about race and racial profiling. The irony is, Gates was only arrested after he asked for the arresting officer's badge number, Sergeant James Crowley. Kendrick Lamar famously raps in the title track to his critically acclaimed Good Kid, Mad City album about getting roughed up by the cops on his way back from Bible study. And you ask, lift up your shirt, because you wonder if a tattoo of affiliation can make it a pleasure to put me through gang files, but that don't matter because the matter is racial profile. I heard them chatter, he's probably young, but I know that he's down. Step on his neck as hard as your bulletproof vest. He don't mind, he know will never respect the good kid, Mad City.
Was Killer Mike's arrest yet another example of racial profiling of people of color? In the words of Martin Luther King, will society evolve to the point where everyone, regardless of race, color, or creed, is afforded the same opportunities as their peers?
We hope so.
We're from the jump. Subscribe.